Did it involve fire?
Totally forgot about the paradoxes now.
Well, I was going to tell you one. Have you ever heard this one? This statement is a lie. Have you heard that one?
Oh boy. Listen, dude, I'm not into this trivia game show type thing. I do real
Trivia.
paradoxes.
That was just a paradox.
I do real paradoxes like gravity trying to hold the air pressure down against a massive vacuum chamber that's billions and billions of light years large. You know what I'm
That
saying?
statement was a legit paradox.
Those type of paradoxes.
So
those type of paradoxes. Those paradoxes have a little bit more interest to them, you know.
Don't turn the
word
game slick like that.
It's not word trivia, you know.
How could it possibly work? What a paradox.
Wait, Scott, which one's not a paradox?
Sounds like a pair of jocks.
What Slick is saying is not a paradox.
The first video tutorial of this series.
Yes, it is.
In my opinion.
Well, could somebody explain, please? I'll be glad to hear an explanation of why it's not a paradox.
Let's definitely explain it to him. That'll fix it.
Let's Lewis. Can Lewis try first? Let Lewis try first. Lewis, explain why.
What's the point?
I'm not going to try to explain that to you.
What is the point?
Well, I mean, that's what I thought. I mean, the
you're
man
a grown man.
He passes himself off as intelligence. He passes himself off as intelligence, so I wanted to hear it. Why is it not a paradox, Lewis?
Thinking it's a concrete floor. We can't convince you you're a brick wall.
Come on, Lewis, step up to the plate. You had a big mouth and laughter a little while ago. Let me see what you got.
Why do you think Lewis is intelligent?
Oh, here's the white knight. Damn, now here he comes.
Yeah, definitely.
With his monologue, long
this
ass,
guy is
talking about
definitely
nothing.
going to white knight for me.
Damn.
By the time
Druss finishes long ass... By the time Druss finishes long ass monologue, I won't even know what day it is.
Have you fed your horse, Druss?
I have. I'm sorry that 3 words in a question was too much.
I know. Go ahead with your monologue, Druss. Go ahead. We won't even remember the conversation.
No, I just asked you a question. Done. I said, why do you think that Lewis is intelligent? That was the question. That's it.
Whoever thought Lewis was intelligent?
You said that.
All right. What the fuck is you talking about? Lewis thinks he's intelligent.
He does?
Well, why do you think that?
Why do I think that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
I said Lewis thinks he's intelligent.
Yeah,
I don't
why
think
do
he
you
is.
think
Lewis
that
does.
Lewis thinks he's intelligent?
I don't think that Lewis thinks he does. Lewis thinks he does. What the fuck is your problem?
Let me help. Lewis is quite intelligent in some ways.
Dude, you came in from the sidelines with that bullshit.
I think I just suppose it's your problem, that's all.
He tells us all the time.
How do you know Lewis thinks he's intelligent?
Because he says it all the time.
Do you say that, Lewis?
No.
Lewis, are you intelligent? Lewis, are you
intelligent?
Well, let's clear it up right now. Lewis, are you intelligent or a dumb fuck?
Oh, I'm a goddamn genius.
I think more correctly, he said he likes to think he's intelligent. That's what he says.
See, now you happy, Druss?
I like to think I'm an intelligent man.
No,
anything else,
why
Druss?
you held that belief, that's all.
Damn, you always come in with that bull. You just open up your mouth and shit just falls out. Why don't you think before you speak? Do a little thinking.
He is very pretty, I will give him that. Though I still wouldn't fuck him.
That's all he needs. He's got to fucking find some rich old widow and fuck her brains out and take her money.
I think he's going to look for a rich older gentleman, what with all the screwdrivers and the blouse and everything.
Oh, God.
Well, that's why he's on camera.
I think you are making assumptions about Lewis there. I think that's a bit unfair.
Oh, man.
I agree.
See how you derailed the conversation. Now you got Lewis off the hook. Now we forgot what we were talking about.
No. I'm on the hook.
Okay, so would you go ahead and deal with the paradox, please, Lewis?
The phone is off the hook.
I'm waiting.
What? Wait, what paradox?
Oh, yeah, exactly. No shit.
Look, I say 3 words in a sentence and you call it a monologue.
3 words, my ass. Every time you open your mouth, it's a damn TED Talks.
That was a good intelligent question, Lewis. What paradox?
Thank you.
See, he's just a kid with fun and games. That's his whole fucking. That's his whole repertoire. Fun and games.
Lay on the facts of the paradox, Slick.
His question was fair. What paradox?
How would you like to deal with the paradox, Druss, since you got a big mouth?
I don't know. Tell me the facts of the paradox.
The facts of the paradox is this. You have Earth with its gravity holding the atmosphere back from this big motherfucking massive vacuum chamber that's billions and billions of light years in size. How does it do that, sir?
Because the force of gravity overcomes the kinetic force of the gas trying to escape our local planet.
It's time to turn up the heat.
Okay, yeah, but we're talking about that vacuum chamber that's billions and billions and billions.
But what does the size of the vacuum chamber have to do with it?
It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
We don't know. It's a chamber.
Okay, well let's examine it. Let's examine it. Let's do a little test. Well, let's see. Let's talk about it for a second. Now, when they build vacuum chambers here on Earth, like if you build a little small vacuum chamber, like, you know, maybe a cubic foot or so, doesn't have to have
this was the vacuum chamber you got wrong.
Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I know. Slick, you don't have to go. All you need to do is say, hey, you remember that vacuum chamber we were discussing yesterday?
Put your fucking mouth off autopilot.
Guys, can you just
take your mouth off autopilot?
Just cut to the chase there, Slick, mate. Stop monologuing.
I was trying to. Damn.
Long story short. Give us
Never mind. Don't worry. Listen, it's not important. Forget it.
You can't do the long story short.
You're right.
I said, yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. It's not important, dude. Never mind.
You're right there. It's the first
go back to your meaningless. Go back to your meaningless chit chat.
To answer Slick's question, the reason
I never finished the question. Fuck
there's a fuckload of atmosphere all around it, and up near the borders of space, there's fuck all atmosphere, so there's not a lot to have to protect.
Yeah.
All we're talking about is the degradation of energy in a molecule trying to escape our planet.
Your question is, how does the universe work? That's your question.
Go back to your meaningless chit chat.
How does it do that?
Size doesn't matter.
The size of the universe around, as long as there's a vacuum around Earth, it doesn't have any bearing on how much the gas is trying to escape. It could be half as big or 3 times as big, and it would still be trying to escape Earth with the same force.
Then let me ask you this.
On Thursday.
So then I have a question for you, if you could answer this, please. Now, when they have these vacuum chambers that they build here on Earth, if it's a small one, like a cubic foot or so, they don't have to put much construction in it. But I noticed that the bigger that the chamber gets, the more construction they have to put in it. Now, can you explain why that is, please?
Because on Earth, at the ground level, where air pressure is 14.7 psi,
yes,
air pressure is coming at it on all sides and trying to push in on it, right?
Okay.
And the way air pressure works, it becomes exponential with area, I think. So if the wall is getting bigger, if the two-dimensional wall gets bigger, it needs exponentially more force in order to protect itself, to keep it from being crumpled.
But that's not really that's not really my question. I'm just wondering why you have the small ones don't need much construction, and the bigger they need. So isn't the vacuum chamber getting bigger in size when it needs more construction?
It's the air pressure from outside is pushing on bigger area, which causes an exponential increase.
What's the air pressure?
Okay, so in other words, so what I am damn. Here's this random mouth motherfucker again. What the fuck?
No, it's
damn.
It's
just
the actual question that needs to be asked.
Dude, I'm having a talk with this man. I'm trying to keep.
Hold on, Josh.
What the fuck, dude?
Go ahead, Slick. You don't have to get so derailed.
That's cool. Right. All right. So if I can gather my thoughts back now, what the fuck? So the thing I'm trying to understand is that I'm just noticing that the bigger the chamber, the more construction is needed. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the only thing I'm doing is I'm doing a little thought experiment. Now, the motherfucking chamber in space is billions of light years in size, correct?
Yep. Yeah, yes.
Okay.
It's very big. Yeah.
Okay, so so I'm noticing that
we don't know if it's a chamber.
Oh shit!
We're not quite sure. You can assume you can assume it's a chamber if you want to.
Oh hell!
White knight.
Oh hell!
Go on, Slick.
You need to think about that at least. It might not be a chamber.
White knight.
Don, get some ice. Get some
White
ice.
knight.
I know it's getting hot, but don't worry about it.
Go on, Tiz. Go ahead.
So anyway, right. So we got this very big chamber, billions of light years in size. So it just seems to make sense that you're going to need some thick wall, to keep that pressure from, wanting to equalize down here, on Earth.
The two situations, I see why at a glance maybe you're thinking of this analogous, but they aren't really analogous, and I'll try to explain why. On our ground level, we have air pressure of a certain amount. We have 14.7, And so that's happening because gravity's pulling this air down and it's compressing it, and they're bouncing off of each other. And so we get this stabilized, this equalized air pressure of a certain amount. And now, if you build something that on the inside doesn't have any pressure at all, that means all that pressure of 14.7 is going to be applied to the outside. Now, if you think about what's going on near the edge of space, nothing like that's happening. Because near the edge of space, the air pressure is basically nil. Because the air pressure created near the surface is created by gravity, so it's created by that pull. There is no air pressure really up there. There is no 14.7 pushing in all directions. So it's not really the same situation at all like that. And 14.7, as the area of something goes up, the force that it's going to be pushing on it gets exponentially higher. So you need really thick walls if you're building a container.
Yeah, and that was exactly the point I was trying to make, Scott.
Oh, here this motherfucker go again.
Well, then why didn't anybody make it already?
Trying to get points at the end.
I tried, but I got derailed by Slick.
Well, quit trying and do it. In other words, get to the fucking point, Druss. Don't just sit here and talk about how you were trying to do something. Just like Slick. Slick's always trying to explain something. Fucking explain it, goddammit.
Oh, sorry, next time's curved. I'll just fucking talk over everybody, annoy everybody, piss everybody off, and just keep fucking going. And I was asked to back down, and I fucking did.
Guys, can I just say one more thing before you guys decide to
Go ahead.
It may even be of no interest to anybody, but another way to see this is true is when you vent something in space. So if you have like a spaceship and it's sealed up with air pressure, right? And then you blow a hatch like in the movies, and the air comes out. The air comes out at a certain rate. The rate can be calculated, can be predicted based 100% on the pressure inside the spaceship. As you don't have to know anything about whether you could blow that hatch and find out you're in a vacuum chamber that's only 10 by 10 by 10 bigger than you are, or you could blow that hatch and find out you're in all the universe. It wouldn't make any difference into how fast that air is venting out. How much force the air leaves is determined and predicted 100% by the air pressure inside the spaceship,
and not the vacuum.
And not the vacuum.
Well,
not really.
Now, when a plane is flying, right, and like you've seen it in the movies where they bust a window out and the whole, everybody's holding on for dear life because that pressure, trying to equalize. You know what I'm saying? So what what's that's just what makes it hard to kind of visualize what you're talking about.
That comes from the internal pressure of this plane, though.
Right. In other words,
it's also been very Hollywooded as well.
The pressure on the outside. Oh Lord, have mercy, help me with this bitch. Anyway, the pressure on the outside is trying to equalize with the pressure on the inside, and there's a drastic fight going on between them to equalize. Right. So that's what makes all this a little bit hard to, Let me ask you this, Scott.
Yeah.
Can you build how thick would you have to build an echo chamber, like really, really high up close to the Kármán line?
Right, echo chamber.
Did I say echo chamber?
I know what you meant.
Vacuum chamber, yeah. So the higher you go, the less thickness you need on this vacuum chamber.
Correct. You need almost nothing up there.
I see.
Which of course why spaceships.
But doesn't that depend on the torr? I mean, because if you're just building one that at relatively low torr value, then you wouldn't need one. But the higher you go, I mean, if you try to go up to minus 16, 17, then you're going to need thicker walls, right?
Holy shit.
No, the amount of emptiness in space is basically equivalent once you pass the Kármán line. It's not going to make a big difference in this kind of calculation. So what's going to determine how thick your walls need to be is how intense is the pressure inside whatever you have contained. So inside the shuttle or inside the ISS, I think they run it pretty low. I think they run it at like
5 psi.
I want to say they run it at like 3 or 4 psi. So
no, they don't. It's 1 atmosphere at the ISS. It's the suits that are 4 or 5 pounds.
Okay, so it's one. What is 1 atmosphere? Is it that 14? What is it exactly? Okay, so you got 14.7 in the ISS, and outside you have what? What is it outside?
Nothing basically.
Nothing. So you have 14.7 against nothing up there, and it's not a problem. But you put 14.7 against nothing down here, and it's swap it around, and it's a major.
You couldn't build space ISS like a vacuum chamber without using very thick walls, because it would just do the opposite. It would just explode out.
Well, this is what I'm trying to understand. Now, down here, you have the vacuum in the chamber and the air outside of it. Now, up there, you got the air inside and the vacuum outside. So it's just basically a swap, right?
Yeah, the key to this whole thing though is what you don't want to have is a large, flat area. You don't want big walls, basically. So that's what goes wrong in a vacuum chamber. When they build those vacuum chambers that can contain like a rocket, they have to build the wall going all the way up. That surface area, that causes a exponential increase in the amount of force that they're having to protect against.
But they
don't build? Go ahead. I was just saying they don't build the craft that way, right? They build the craft to be fairly small and contained.
But doesn't the air in the ISS want to equalize with that big torque value outside of it?
It does, yes. It's pushing against the walls.
But doesn't it want to desperately? Because that's a major difference, right? I mean,
it wants 14.7.
I mean, in other words, what I'm trying to figure out is how come they go apart? What's keeping it
different structure with difference in structural integrity?
The key is how they shape it and how they build it.
Okay, but so just so I'm not confused, down here you have the exact opposite situation, and you need a very thick wall to divide.
Only when you're building a really big chamber. Only when you're building because like you said, when you're building a smaller chamber, you don't need so much, right? So if we built a chamber that looked like the ISS down on the ground level, it would be fine. We could build it just like the ISS, and it would protect against the outside.
Right, but what I'm talking about is that big chamber of space. That's a huge chamber.
No, but what matters is how much of air pressure, how much surface area is having to deal with the air pressure. That's what matters. And
I think
the way the atmosphere is being pulled against the Earth, there is no air pressure pushing against. It just sort of fades away into the vacuum, right? The air pressure down at ground level is 14.7. That's when you get the situation where you got 14.7 pushing against the vacuum space. When you build a spacecraft in space and you have people inside of it, they have 14.7 on the inside and there's nothing on the outside. The atmosphere. It doesn't ever have 14.7 pushing against nothing. The atmosphere just it's pulled downwards.
Well, let me ask you this.
And the pressure decreases steadily until you get to zero.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Now, on Earth, you have gravity. Now, that's holding the air pressure down, correct?
Yeah. Right.
Now on the ISS, there's no center holding gravity to its center, right? There's none of that going on, right? So I'm just trying to process all of it because gravity is not holding. Oh, here's this motherfucker.
I'm sorry, I want to make a point, Stick.
I know you do. I know. I know.
I'm
go ahead.
Sorry, it's a problem.
Dude, go ahead. Go ahead.
All I want to point out is the fact that I've got an air rifle. It's got 3,000 psi in the gas that allows me to shoot pellets out of it.
Wait, where is that psi?
3,000.
No. Where is it?
Oh, it's inside the air container.
Oh. All right.
So it's bottled. So it's bottled in there. That gas bottle is really it's not that thick. It's not like meters thick. So that's 3,000 versus 14.7. Not 14.7 versus 0.
I think that's a good point.
That's some white knight bullshit. How are we supposed to have a conversation with this motherfucker always bringing up bullshit?
Well, I mean, it's I'm trying to process what he's talking about, and like I said, I hear where you're coming from, but I'm just trying to deal with torque values, like high vacuum areas, high,
It's
so
zero.
If you're right, let me ask you something. Does does this thing that you just brought up have anything to do with high vacuum areas?
It has to do with pressure difference.
That's I know. I didn't ask you that.
Is it not?
I asked you, did it have anything to do with high vacuum areas?
Yeah, I could take that bottle into a high vacuum area. It would still hold.
Okay, so now you're telling me what it would do. Have you done it?
It's been tested. They test them to that. I will go and find out, Slick. I will fact check it. No, Slick, I haven't personally done that. The same way as I get on an airplane and I don't personally do an ultrasound test on the metal, Slick.
Well, fact check it first.
So if you want to pull a genetic fallacy, that's fine.
Well, it's just what I'm saying.
I'm not sure.
Check it first.
So,
okay, well,
what's this have to do with genetics?
Just check it first.
Fucking bullshit.
I don't see the paradox here.
Well, I'm talking about high.
Bringing race into this.
I'm talking about pressure against high vacuums, extremely high vacuums. So he's talking about a rifle here on Earth where there's no high vacuum involved. So I don't know how that has anything to do with the subject.
What is high vacuum?
In other words, don't you have a chart that says what vacuums is? Like you have medium vacuum, high vacuum, extremely high vacuum, ultra high vacuum. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, but Slick, I'm asking in essence, what is it? High vacuum, the higher the vacuum, the more nothing it is.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
It's nothing, dude. Nothing.
Well, if it's nothing, then why do they even bother rating it?
Do you understand it's relative?
Why are you stuttering? I said, if it's nothing, why do they even bother rating it?
Okay, look, are you trying to understand anything? Or are you
Dude, I just asked the question. Are you going to answer the question or not? If it's nothing, why do they bother rating it?
They're rating how
Okay,
close
well,
to nothing.
I tell you what, no further questions,
a simple answer to something here, Slick, and you're being a jackass about it.
All right, go ahead.
Now, listen, I happen to think you've got a fairly decent question here for once. Okay, and I'm trying to do things to maybe see to it that it gets answered in a way that you can get. So if you want to be an adversary just for the sake of it, then keep it up. But I'm trying to make a simple point to you here. The higher the vacuum, the more nothing it is. Do you understand that? Or the closer to absolute nothing it is. It's just lower pressure. When you speak in terms of this high vacuum, like the 10 to the 6th, and then you go 10 to the 10th, negative 10th torr, and then 10 to the negative 17th torr, like, oh my God, what can withstand 10 to the negative 17th torr? No. So you got to get away from that, thinking that the larger that negative number is, that it's more powerful or something.
Okay, so now will you answer my question?
What is your question?
My question is, if it doesn't mean that much, why do they bother having this rating?
It's calculation, man.
Rating is down to zero.
In other words, if it doesn't matter, like you said, it's no big deal. It's just more of nothing. Then why do they have this rating of medium to ultra high? Why do they have that rating?
They're telling you how close to nothing you're getting. They're saying you got really close to nothing, you got kind of close to nothing. That's what the rating is for.
Right, but the thing is why? But the thing is why? If it's so negligible, why bother?
Well, it's because if you're studying vacuums, if you're studying nothingness, then you don't want to be accidentally studying one that isn't really very nothing, right? You want to get one that's as pure nothing as possible. So you got to kind of know how much nothing you have. That's all.
But it's so negligible. I mean, like Curve, the way Curve said it is so negligible, it doesn't mean anything. And my point
I think sorry, I didn't mean.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if it's so negligible, then why bother with a rating at all? You know.
I think what he was saying was what he was trying to get at was this. He was trying to get at this idea that it sounds like it's becoming more and more of more and more big, or more strong, or more powerful. And this is something I think we all ran into when we first started learning about this stuff. And so I don't know if it's true for him. For me, this was definitely something I had to sort of click in on. These numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger sort of on a glance. And it takes a little bit of a reminder to oneself to realize, okay, wait, no. 0 is the most it can be. It's always headed towards 0. The more vacuum, and that's going to be the bottom line. And so a lot of times when we reason about it, we just pretend it's 0 anyway. And we're already dealing with the absolute worst case. You don't even have to worry about torr, because
Let me ask you a question.
Maximum vacuum.
Let me ask you this. The one on Earth goes down to 10 to the minus 6, right?
Yeah, something like that.
What would happen if it tried to go down to 10 to the minus 17?
The reason they have trouble doing it is mere molecules sneak in. Nothing bad would happen. It wouldn't be any difference, really. It's just that they can't do it. They have a hard time getting everything out.
Well, see, this is why I'm saying it does matter, because if it didn't matter, then they would be able to easily go from 10 to the minus 6 to 10 to the minus 16. It wouldn't be an issue. But the thing is, it is an issue, and what they would have to have is probably twice as thick walls to accomplish that.
So evidently it's
so it does matter. But the only point I'm trying to make is it does matter. Saying it doesn't matter is some BS. It does matter. Yeah,
I think he's just trying to help the intuition about where it's headed. You already knew that.
But here, it doesn't affect the thickness needed for the walls.
Yeah. If you want to get to zero, you're gonna have to do something. Actually, I don't think we've ever done it. I think it's people say it's
the walls.
Well, it's something.
About evacuating the material.
Yeah, and getting stuff that's so porous that nothing can get through it.
So the low vacuum is just what they call a rough vacuum. So that's produced by equipment like a vacuum cleaner. A medium vacuum can be achieved by a single pump, but the pressure is too low to measure with a liquid or mechanical manometer. A high vacuum is where residual gases are removed using multiple pumps, and an ion gauge will actually work on it. Ultra high requires that same process as for high plus chemical. Then you have deep space, which is a category, a perfect vacuum, which is 0, and a hard vacuum versus soft vacuum, which are defined with a dividing line, defined different using different sources such as Tor.
Dude, you really need to start thinking before you talk, dude. Ain't nobody talking about that at all. What the hell are you talking about?
Because you brought that fucking concept up and say, why do they have these different categories? I've just explained it to you, so you now have that information to do with.
Man, you ain't
whatever the
shit.
fuck you want.
You talking about a motherfucking vacuum cleaner? What the fuck is you talking about?
Dude, he's telling you what the high means compared to the low.
That's
man,
the
we talking about
low,
big
medium,
motherfucking
high,
vacuum
and
chambers.
ultra high vacuum categories.
We're talking about vacuum chambers with minus 17 and 16.
He's giving you great.
You're talking about a motherfucking
We
eureka.
have these different categories, didn't you, Slick? Or is your
Okay,
memory
so that's
terrible?
why we have them, because of the Eureka vacuum cleaners. That's why we have these Tor values, because of Eureka.
You really are a
what the
fucking
fuck is
moron,
dude, what is you
Slick.
talking
You are
about?
a fucking.
Ain't nobody talking about no damn fucking vacuum cleaners.
Fucking moron, mate.
Okay, you're stuck. Unstick yourself.
Sorry, Slick Centaurum, you are a fucking moron.
Are vacuum cleaners rated in Tor values?
Slick, you're being silly.
No, I'm asking, are vacuum cleaners rated
There you
in
go.
Tor
Just for
values?
everybody else who's not a moron, I posted the link.
Dude, you just keep coming in the side with that shit that ain't nobody talking about. We're talking about extremely high vacuum.
This is
Your lack of understanding does not reflect what was explained. This is on you.
Are vacuum cleaners rated in Tor values? Somebody just let me know.
You're the one asking all the questions. You gotta quit acting like you know what's what.
Come on,
make
curved eraser.
Being
Put
silly.
the gavel away.
Look at it, he isn't even the
Sorry,
wrong
mate.
fucking
Thank
room.
you. That would help.
What the fuck?
Now that is a
Get
fucking
you-
move.
Oh my god. See what I mean?
You're just being
So
silly,
yes,
Slick. Come on.
vacuum chambers are measured.
Oh, now he's going to say it again.
760 to 20.
You're being hard on him.
Well, I can't, man.
It's too hot.
It's being silly. Man.
Nobody's talking about vacuum
I
cleaners.
brought solipsism up with him before. He really
You
did
hear a
not
word
like
in your
that.
language. Typical flat earth.
See, Scott, now you tried to help you, Scott. You tried to get me off of him, but you think he'd take the hint and shut the fuck up?
No, he's too much heat.
You know, right now you're the one that needs to shut the fuck up and listen.
Yes,
and
curved.
like,
Yes, curved eraser.
well, then why are you asking these questions if you don't want answers?
Yes, curved eraser.
That's a valid point I just made, Slick.
Eraser.
You're just being silly.
That was
I'm talking about high. I'm talking about high vacuums that
You're
high
being
Tor values.
silly.
What does that have to do with vacuum cleaners?
And nothing to do with vacuum cleaners, you moron. Nobody said it did. Now listen, you're the idiot that came in here thinking that a vacuum chamber is like the vacuum of space. You don't understand the differences. You don't understand any of it. And you're
Explain it.
acting all high and mighty like
Let's see you
nobody else
explain
knows what's going on, and your questions are too hot.
Well, let's see you explain it.
It was
Explain the
explained to you-
difference.
You know,
it was
Wise,
explained to you.
don't try to. Wise, why are you trying to save
was-
curved eraser? Why you got to save
It
it?
was explained
I
to
know,
you.
but why are
and
you trying to
latched onto
save it?
vacuum cleaner.
Why are you trying to
It
save
was
it?
explained to. It was explained to you,
Okay,
and you latched on
okay.
the word vacuum cleaner.
So why are you trying
That's
to
the
save
problem.
curved? I know,
No,
but I
that's
want to
the
know why
problem.
you trying to
That's
save
the-
curved.
Why are you being silly? Why do you have
I
to
know.
be
Why are
silly?
you trying to save curved?
I'm
nobody
not.
saved
You are.
it.
You are.
I know, but apparently I got, having a conversation with Curve. Now you feel the need to jump in.
Explained to you.
I know, but you said that about 6 times. You said that I'm silly 6 times.
And you kept saying, why am I trying to save Curve? You said
okay,
that
can
about
I get back to Curve, please? Are you done so I can get back to Curve?
Yeah,
now, Curve, would you like to explain the difference, please, between the chambers here on Earth and the back into space, please?
There's no point. There's no.
Okay, I'm talking to Curved, Wise.
I'm talking to you, Slick.
One shot. Here you go. A vacuum chamber on Earth is a vacuum created within atmospheric pressure. Okay? The vacuum chamber is surrounded by pressure trying to be exerted upon that volume of space known as the interior of the vacuum chamber. In space, no such condition exists. The vacuum of space is not sitting there with the pressure of Earth's atmosphere trying to get into it. Do you understand that?
Well, I understand that, but you didn't answer my question. You told me that there's a difference, and I'm asking you, what is... Hold on. Let me just chill out. What is the difference? Hold on, dude. Take it easy. I know it's hot.
Away with that shit.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I know you're not going to let me get this in, so go ahead.
For saying you didn't answer my question.
Okay, go ahead. You got more you want to add?
Recognize a fucking answer. Quit posturing and listen and learn, motherfucker.
Okay, let me know when you're finished.
I'm fucking done. I need coffee.
Okay, so now once again, you did. I thought you were done. Your mouth's still going. The motherfucker said he was done, but his mouth is still moving.
And you're just sitting here dancing around like a fucking...
I thought you were done. Why is your mouth still moving?
Because you're a fucking arrogant retard.
Now, so remember I told you about what happens when it gets hot? There's a perfect example.
Nothing hot, Slick. You're an intolerable jackass.
It's time to turn up the heat.
It's hot. It's already hot. I just explained when I came into the room, I gave a description of what happens when it gets hot. Curve just gave you.
Does that mean abject stupidity equals heat?
No, it's
Here's
just
some
too
more.
hot.
Here's some more heat. Now it's affecting
Do you lean
trust.
into your mic when you do that, Lewis?
No.
See, that's what happens when it gets hot. People start attacking you and screaming and calling you a bunch of bitches and motherfuckers.
Stop your belly aching.
Oh, here's another one. There's another one. That's
I'm just telling you.
Is your favorite singer?
That's 4 people. That's 4 people that got heated.
Heat. Misunderstanding vacuums on purpose does not
4
constitute
people that
heat.
got heated. 4 of them.
Is your favorite singer Amy Winehouse?
Listen, this motherfucker's heated now. Go ahead, Trust. You heated. Go ahead, let it out.
Stop your belly aching, Slick.
I know. Go ahead, Wise. You heated too.
Is Winger
it's
your
hot,
favorite
motherfucker.
heated,
Listen,
mate.
the heat is getting
Hey,
to you. I get it, dude.
There's no point in doing that. Hey, Slick, let me ask you a question. Are you trying to, because it sounded like when Curve was talking to you, you misunderstood something, and Scott was explaining something, and you were maybe, learning something. But are you honestly, trying to learn something, or are you purposely trying to trick people?
Shut the fuck up with that bullshit. The fuck you think you're talking?
I'm just asking because if you're not, if you're purposely trying to trigger people, then it's pointless responding to you, and people like Dress are going to keep doing it.
Yeah, so fuck you. Yeah, fuck you.
Right. So I think that you're not trying to learn anything. There's no point in doing this. So I asked everybody in the room if you guys could please stop. Please stop.
You, man. You better learn how to respect.
Conversations like we were having before.
Yeah, learn some respect, motherfucker.
It's got a limitation. That's what you can understand.
Earn it first.
Fuck is your damn problem?
You get all the respect that you've earned, mate.
Fuck you gonna sit up
probably
here.
get more respect.
Are you trying to learn something, man? Kiss my ass with that bullshit.
You didn't even hear my question. I was asking
I heard you, motherfucker. You asked me, am I trying to learn something, bitch? You think I didn't hear you?
It's gone hot in here, isn't it?
All right, guys. If you guys could not do Slick doing so I can finish what I'm saying, Slick might continue to do it. But no, Slick, that's not what I asked you. I asked you if you were purposely trying to trigger people. It seems like you are. And I would advise people to not play this game with you if you're purposely trying to trigger them.
Motherfucker, like I told you, listen, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I don't fucking purposely try to trigger nobody. What the fuck you think this is?
Sure. I was talking to the room now.
Yeah.
I was talking to people about you, not to you.
You was a motherfucking lie. You was talking to me.
Yeah. question and then use that to talk to the room and say, "Don't play this game with you. It's not fun."
Motherfucker, it's not a fucking game. What the fuck makes you think this is a game?
Believes you're lying to him.
Yeah,
Fuck is your problem? Sit your ass down with that dumb shit.
This isn't fair,
it's a game,
guys.
Slick.
Fuck out of here. Game my ass.
Motherfucker,
you want it to be a game because you're getting your ass handed to you. That's why you want to think it's a game.
When you said, I don't have beliefs.
You want it,
That's when I knew it was a game.
Real, but
Fuck
you don't
outta
get
here.
it's a game.
Ignorant motherfucker.
So much longer it lasts.
You can solve that ignorance with a bit of education, mate. It's all right.
No, but this is the deal, man. We having a conversation. The questions get tough. Are you trying to trigger us? Get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit.
Well, I'm a bit triggered that you want to fuck your mother, but...
Listen to this fucking moron.
I know, we are listening to you.
What is your purpose, Slick, if it's not that?
Kosher, you don't think I could see through your ass with that bullshit? You think you ain't that transparent?
He's close enough to your ass.
I think you might be.
Motherfucker, if you was any more transparent, you'd be made of glass.
You have the understanding of a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I understand.
That's depressing.
You done did that shit about 5 or 6 times with that bullshit, and I'll let you off the hook.
I've never told you that before in life.
Motherfucker.
I've never once said to you, man.
You was a motherfucking lie. You done played that bullshit game about 3 or 4 times now, and I'm getting sick of it.
I've never once said that to you, man.
You was a motherfucking lie. You did this shit about 4 times now, trying to act like I'm playing some fucking game. This ain't no fucking game. Fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Watch your back, Coach.
Bang the gavel.
People get triggered is because they're having their asses handed to them. That's what's making them triggered. It ain't no fucking game.
No. That's
Is
right.
that why you're triggered? Why are you triggered, Slick? You're getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah, I'm getting my ass handed to me because this motherfucker accusing me of playing games. I don't play fucking games, bitch.
I'm sorry for handing your ass to you.
Yeah. You ain't handed shit, motherfucker. I'll mop the floor with your motherfucking ass any day of the week. Anytime you want to have a one-on-one, you let me know when you up
He's
for
gonna
it.
stick that
And we'll
pole in the arse
and we'll
and
see how
clean
much of
that
a motherfucking game it is.
That's what he's going to do to you, Kosher.
All right, step up to the motherfucking plate.
Right
and
through
put
your arse.
Would you shut the fuck up?
You know, so obviously he's got to be very close to your arse to be able to do that. This is why I call him Slick Santorum, because he's really after that frothy bubbling stuff.
Listen to this motherfucker.
I know,
anytime you, what the fuck? Your mother. Anytime you want to have a motherfucking debate, you want to go on one-on-one, you want to see how much of a game it is. Would you shut the fuck up?
It's really not what I want.
I'm talking to Kosho, you ignorant bastard.
I know you're an ignorant bastard. I'm sorry about that.
Now, Kosho, anytime you want to see if it's a game, me and you can go head to head. How's that? Let's see how much of a game it is. Then you'll know once and for all whether I'm just trying to trigger people.
Wolfgang, I can do that for you, mate. That is a kind request, and I'm happy to help.
Ugh, ew. Why would you? Why would you want that?
Because he's Slick Santorum.
So now that we've got that out of the way, can we get back to the motherfucking
bubbling fecal matter?
Oh, look. Can we get back to the conversation now that we got that cleared up, please?
No.
Yeah, of course not. Go ahead with your meaningless chit-chat, Druss. Go ahead. I know you want the floor. You need your attention.
No.
No. No. Fuck.
No,
now you want to shut up. Now, do you going to talk or you want to shut the fuck up? Why don't you make up your mind?
I'll make my own decisions as I see fit, Slick. You can
I'll make my own
believe whatever you want.
You sound just like a fucking butler.
We'll never be able to. That's unfortunate because you'll never be able to afford one, Slick. Certainly not one with my education.
Oh man.
And my education's really shit, but yours is atrocious.
Oh man,
got some zingers out here today.
Motor mouth.
If you want, you can call me Jarvis. How can I help you today, Mr. Santorum?
Now, can we get? I would like to get this question answered, please. Now that we know that I'm not playing games, can we get back to it, please?
We don't know that, Slick.
Now I'm asking the question. Oh, Ben, can anybody do something with this ignorant motherfucker?
What's your question, Slick?
Okay. Curve said that the vacuum that is inside the chamber is not the same as the vacuum in space, and I'm trying to get clarification whether that's the case or not.
Yeah, because the vacuum in the chamber is within our atmosphere. The vacuum in space is not. That's the difference.
So are you saying that they're different vacuums?
No, the vacuum in space is within our atmosphere, so it has different attributes. The vacuum in space is not within our atmosphere, so it doesn't have the same forces acting upon it, does it?
I didn't ask you about forces acting upon it. I'm asking you, are the vacuums
That's the difference between the two vacuums.
I'm only
I've
asking
explained
is
it
the
now
vacuum.
3 times.
Oh my goodness, would you shut the fuck up? I'm not asking anything about forces acting on anything. I'm only asking, is the vacuum the same as the vacuum is in space? That's all.
What do you mean by the same?
In other words, this is the same thing.
So are you saying that, is it a vacuum in the fact that we've evacuated gases and we've reduced the pressure?
I think what I'm asking, this is what I'm asking. I think what I'm asking is a vacuum. That's what I'm asking.
We just had that category. It's a rose is a rose is a rose. Yeah,
that's right.
I was thinking that. Now, Curve said that they were different, and that's why
because he specified that the difference was that the vacuum was within our atmosphere and the vacuum of spaces and not. That was the difference that he articulated. Are we clear now?
No, we're not clear, motherfucker, because you keep running your mouth.
Oh, sorry, I'll speak slowly. I'll make it long story short.
I'm not even talking to you.
I'll make it long story short for you.
Can I talk to anybody else besides this
space,
motherfucker?
No atmosphere around it. Vacuum on Earth, atmosphere around it. Long story short.
Is there anybody else in the motherfucking room that can speak besides this son bitch?
You've been ignoring me, Slick, when I talk.
Well, I think I heard you out of the side of your mouth said that I'm playing a game when I said I don't have beliefs. Did I hear you say that?
I agree that this is a game, yeah. And
yeah,
that's
okay, well, I'm not playing no motherfucking games.
Well, okay, I see it as a game.
Okay, well, that's too bad. You need to sit your ass down then.
No, this is why I play it.
Yeah, see, you the one playing games. So, Coach, when you ask people who's playing games, Don just told you he's the one playing games.
You should have told me that instead of yelling at me.
Well, you came out. It's
fine, Slick.
Yeah, I know it's fine, but you done did that shit 3 or 4 times.
We'll start over then, Slick.
All right, we'll start over.
Yeah. So what you just asked about the atmosphere and space and all this bullshit like that. When something's nothing, when there's nothing there, you can be anywhere, and that's going to be the same thing. So a vacuum in space where there's nothing, or a vacuum chamber where there's nothing, is the same thing. The difference
That's all I was asking.
The difference is.
Hold on. There is no difference. You just said that they're the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, if they're the same thing, let it go. Why are you now going to tell me something else when you've already answered the question?
Because you're going to use that to be confused.
No, I'm not going to use. See, this is the problem. See, you're playing a game because instead of just answering the question, you're trying to think that I'm going to come back with something to use it against you. See, that's your issue, not mine.
I didn't say
you're the one that has the. Yes, you did. You just said that I'm going to come back.
I said you're going to use it to be confused about something.
No, I'm not. Where are you getting that from?
Because it's what you did last time we talked about this, and I said the same thing.
Right. And this is what I'm saying, Coach. So see, the problem isn't me. The problem is you. Because you're the one that's assuming that I'm going to do something.
Do it. I'm going to go ahead and state anyway what the difference is. Same thing Curved had said.
I know,
In space, there's not a chamber. There's nothing it's competing against. It's just nothing. There's nothing up there.
I didn't ask
if there's an ISS or something up there that has pressure, then the barrier between that pressure and the space, there'll be a competition, but they'll have a structure built enough to sustain it. On Earth, the whole place is pressurized. So if we want to build the vacuum chamber, the entire vacuum chamber has to be in competition with all that pressure. So that's
wasn't my question. Yeah, thank you. Wasn't my question. You answered it when you said that they're the same. I was done with that point. Once you said that they were the same, that's all I was looking for. I wasn't looking for a TED Talks about it. There is no. See, this is the problem. This is the problem when I have conversations with people. They always concern themselves with the next punch instead of the one that's coming at them, and then they fault me for it.
You want the conversation way? Well, sorry, it don't work that way. The conversation goes the way people want to fucking express themselves. So it's like, you ask a question, you fucking expect it to get answered. You don't take fucking crap.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What is this? What the fuck is
You know exactly what you're on about. Idiot.
What the fuck is... The fuck, man? What the fuck? What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck? Who is this?
Don't climb a fucking tree.
Well, who the fuck is this?
Oh my god.
What the fuck is that? What?
Slick, you're on repeat, mate.
Dude, I'm trying to... What the fuck is going on?
You just broke his brain, Tom.
Motherfucker just came out of nowhere with that bullshit. What the fuck?
You're on repeat.
Damn.
It sounds like Michael Jackson now.
Who is this motherfucker?
Yeah, well, there's other people in this room, Slick, and so if somebody wants to talk for longer than 10 seconds, then they're allowed to.
No fucking shit, Coach.
Man, what you're doing is you're monologuing.
Fuck you.
You're monologuing.
Yeah,
Slick.
fuck you. I said fuck you. Monologue that.
I know exactly what I'm saying. You're saying fuck you. You're saying who is that? Who is that?
Fuck you.
Yeah, for 1 minute you said that.
Coach,
so other people are allowed to talk too, Slick.
I know. Fuck you. I'm allowed to say that. Fuck you.
Actually, you're treated with real kid gloves.
How's that?
Because most people who act like you do get muted. Like when I
mute,
act like
motherfucker. You think I give a fuck? Fuck you.
No, you're never going to fuck me, Slick, because you're not my type. But I appreciate
drinking,
Shit, Coach, like I told you, man, stop playing with me, motherfucker. You're going to get your ass.
Have you been drinking, Slick? Because you really do sound off your
Who the fuck are you? Who are you?
Your worst fucking nightmare.
Damn, motherfucker coming out of the suit. Don't even know the fuck you are.
Where do these people come from?
Yeah, just come out of nowhere. Who the fuck is this?
That's your president.
It's your worst nightmare.
Are you like new? Are you like new?
You never noticed.
Are you like new to Discord or some shit?
Been in here 4 years and you've never noticed. That's how
I don't know who the fuck you are.
Much attention
Who is
you put.
What's your name, motherfucker?
Told you it's your worst nightmare.
Server Bad Boy, that's his name.
Server Bad Boy. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, don't mess with him, man.
Oh.
Yeah, Kosher, you listen, dude. I don't mean no disrespect, but that little passive aggressiveness bullshit that you coming off with, that shit don't work with me, big timer.
Okay. Well, whatever you're saying right now, like fuck you.
Yes.
Bitch, for explaining the vacuum thing. It sounds to me like maybe you drank last night, or something had happened. Somebody called you and said something rude to you.
No.
So you came on here, and I don't know what's going on with you today, but
no. What's going on with me today is that little passive aggressive shit that you doing, that's pissing me off. That's what's going on.
Why are you acting so disrespectful?
I don't play those fucking games. If you at least be like Curved. Curve just comes right the fuck out and tell you about yourself. But you try to do it in that little slick ass bullshit way. Being a bitch. Don't do that.
Isn't that
be
nice
a man,
to sometimes, though, Slick, to hear it like that?
Fuck no. Be yourself. Be real. I can't stand a fake motherfucker.
That's kosher.
That's fake shit. No, that's some fake shit.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to kick your ass over the internet because that's stupid. So.
Yeah, but it's fake. Don't be a fake.
I'm being real with you. Slick. I'm telling you straight up. I think I can speak for myself, just. Yeah. But yeah, I'm speaking to you straight up, Slick. I'm just asking you to. I mean, you can keep doing this, I guess, if you'd like to, and people can keep participating with you. But you're being it's a little different than most days, so I'm not sure. Maybe something's up with you.
Ain't nothing. I'm the same every motherfucking day. I don't change. This is typical. I'm always the same. Fuck is you talking about?
This is extremely typical.
Shit, bitch, you talking about I change. Motherfucker, anybody knows me know I don't change. Fuck.
Does anybody really know you, though, Slick?
See, I'm just telling you, Kosher, what you're doing is this passive-aggressive bullshit. You're trying to talk in this real nice, relaxed tone while you throw all these motherfucking insults. Fuck is you doing?
I said one insult to you, Slick, and
okay, well, that was one too many. But it was one too many. Okay, that was the one that broke the camel's back. I said that you have the understanding
of a 10-year-old, and you're twice my age.
Well, that was the one that broke the camel's back. That was the one that broke it.
I'm sure it did, Slick, but that's not important. You want to stay on topic? Then we'll stay on topic.
Yeah, stay on topic.
Get out of here with that weak ass, pussy ass camel shit.
Damn, you think I'm not hip to you, dude? I'm very aware, man. You have to understand that I'm aware as a motherfucker.
Hey, guys, relax. Not all camelbacks were made equal.
Hey, and you leave Slick's camel toe alone.
You suck so much.
Very high awareness.
All right, well, Why are we stay on topic then, Slick? That because this goes in circles, man. It goes nowhere. So
yeah, I know, but just don't do it again, okay? And then we won't go in circles.
don't do it again.
You don't do it again.
What am I doing? It's like responding to you. That's all I'm doing.
Listen, I know, but what I'm telling you is don't accuse me of playing games and triggering people, and we won't have this conversation.
I asked you one of the two. Is what I didn't accuse you of either. I asked you one of the two. You went and answered by.
Well, you should know better. You should know better. Why are you asking me that?
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, there's no benefit of that. Well, you could go around the whole room and ask them the same motherfucking question. Why are you asking me?
Why would I ask them? If you were here to?
I mean, what I'm saying is, you could ask Curve that question. You could ask Curve, are you just here to trigger people and get people upset when you start calling them a bunch of bitches and motherfuckers? You could ask Curve that. I never hear you asking him that.
That doesn't make sense, like.
Yeah, I know it doesn't.
I'm gonna disengage now. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for stopping in.
You choose your Sony, Precious. Step down.
I do it in reaction to people doing stupid ass shit, Slick.
Okay.
It's always in reaction, Slick.
No, what it is, man, is this. Like I said, when you're having a conversation and you can't handle it, first thing you do is start attacking the person's character.
That's a belief.
Well, you gotta don't be raising the heat up like that.
I mean, no, Druss, you said that it's a belief, so you're saying that's not a fact?
Yeah.
Okay.
God, that's the least interesting of all possible avenues.
I mean, it's the go-to move. As soon as you start asking a couple of dumb questions, oh, you're a fucking moron. You don't have a fucking brain cell. Man, nobody want to hear that bullshit.
Well, who cares what people want to hear, Slick? Now, did anybody successfully get through to you that space is not a vacuum chamber, like a vacuum chamber on Earth?
For one thing, bitch, I'm not looking for anybody to get through to me, motherfucker.
Now, where was that hostility from? What
from you talking about reaction? Yes. Slick? What did that from you talking about get through to me? What the fuck?
What does gender have to do with this?
Well, we've all had difficulty getting.
Did I get through to you? Do I get through to your motherfucking ass?
Oh no, you never make sense.
Shit, the fuck.
Sorry for the camera.
Get through to that.
It was bad.
Could we get a little more ghetto in it, Slick? Up the ante here on your performance.
Hey, listen, motherfucker, the ghetto don't bother me. That's where I'm from. Fuck you.
Then do it. Bring it.
He's a fucking idiot.
I mean, this is what you're presenting. This is how Slick presents himself to me.
I mean, let's talk about you since we talking about me, ghetto. Let's talk about you and testosterone. Let's talk about that since we could talk about my background. Let's talk about yours. What's your background?
What's the evidence for me and testosterone, as you put it?
Yeah, what's your background?
What does that mean?
What does anything Slick says mean?
What's up to you and the testosterone shit? What's up with that?
Tell me all about it.
Well, I'm asking you. We talked about my ghetto. We know where I'm from. We know what my roots are. Let's talk about your roots.
No, Slick, it's not about your roots. It's about your behavior now.
Let's talk about your roots.
Now, if you have come from the ghetto, then that's fine. Whatever.
Where
but
you
that's
come
not
from?
The issue.
Where you come from?
I was born on the motherfucking mean streets of Southeast DC, motherfucker.
So what's with the testosterone? Do y'all shoot up? Do y'all shoot testosterone out in the mean streets of DC? Do they use testosterone in the mean streets of DC?
Man, we couldn't afford none of that shit.
Fuck is wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Come on, more ghetto, Slick. More ghetto.
That's right, motherfucker. I'm from the ghetto, bitch.
Are you from it or are you in it?
From it, motherfucker. From it. That's where I was from.
Didn't leave it behind.
Well, no. Now he drives a Chevy Malibu. He escaped.
Right.
With a push button ignition system.
Right.
Couldn't have left the ghetto in the fucking ghetto.
That's a badass car, bitch.
Near in the car, and boom, he can push a button, and he believes it'll start.
I think he's going down the stereotype of
I don't have
man out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the man.
That's right. I'm ghetto, motherfucker, 100%.
It's my point is that it's not about his upbringing or roots or any of that. It's about current behavior. That's all. That's what my commentary was.
Well, current behaviors in the ghetto, we get in your ass.
Bring more of it. Be you.
When you come out of pocket, we get in your ass.
You to the maximum of your potential, Slick. Be all the ghetto you can be. Let us sit back and just, be in awe of how ghetto you can be.
Okay, well, I'm ghetto and you're quantum curved eraser, just like quantum eraser. So I'm ghetto.
When you say ghetto, do you mean gay sex club? Because you seem to be up in somebody's arsehole.
When you say ghetto, do you mean gay sex club? Come on, bitch. Get out of here.
Well, you seem to have this arse fixation all the time.
Dude, motherfucker, I picture you with a towel over your motherfucking arm. Will that be all, sir?
You can picture me however you want. It's your mind and your imagination.
Notice every time they have a TV show with a butler and a motherfucker, they have somebody in there with your accent?
Yes, that's because we're well educated and posh, and you're not.
Yeah, posh. We're posh.
Oh, what the fuck did you just say? Who's not? Say it to Trust. God damn it.
I'm about as posh as fucking shit.
He's posh.
Fucking posh, my ass.
I don't even know what that means.
Hey,
Those
I got
posh are fancy, right?
Serious question for the people in here that are adept at engineering. And this is what I was alluding to earlier when I said I thought Slick asked a good question. Because I'm not familiar with, off the top of my head, I don't know the exact diameter of the space station and all that. And, to me, it's a bunch of tubes and cylinders and all that kind of shit. But the question did pop into my mind when he asked one of his questions. Okay, if we brought the ISS back down to Earth and evacuated it, would it be effective as a vacuum chamber? Or is there something about when you're dealing with something of that design that it's stronger holding pressure inside going out than it is holding, keeping back pressure from outside crushing in again?
Yeah, the construction is different, so it would be rated completely differently for external pressure than internal. It's like a submarine.
Quartus was talking about it earlier.
Yeah,
it's like those Coke cans or those. What's that video where the train, the train car has like no pressure inside, like a vacuum inside, and because the way it's shaped, it's actually really weak.
Well, look at a Coke can, right? It holds what? It holds something like 50 psi or something. And when it's empty, you can crush it between your finger and thumb. So,
Barrel, even. They have the barrels when they do that. They empty them out and put them in like hot water and they crush.
Well, it's why the sides of a Coke can are so thin, but the tops are so thick, because it's got the circular. So you got the lowest form of kinetic potential in the shape of the object, but the flat top and bottom is where the stresses are.
Now compare that to those.
And I will let any engineering duty correct me on that if I'm wrong. But that's how
compare that to those oil tankers. Compare the Coke can to the oil tanker.
Just did.
Can't put a lot of oil in a Coke can.
Yeah, so all those things are built in the opposite. Like to answer Curve's question, they're built with the opposite idea. So the ISS, it probably wouldn't be too structurally sound. Although it might be, but it might not be if you turn it into a vacuum and then put it down here in the pressure. Just because it's the pressure would be acting on the outside in, and I don't think it's built for that.
It's just convenient. Only thing I'm saying, it's very convenient that it works the other way around to give you this ability to go to space. Because if it worked the same way both ways, your space travels would be instantaneously impossible.
Hey, a fact's a fact, and not a fact is not a fact.
Because you would have to be able to get a vessel up there with 6 foot thick walls in order to hold off the,
Oh, the question is, why would you need it?
No, I'm just saying is that it's just very convenient that the exact opposite happens. Like down here on Earth, you got big air versus small chamber. But then when you got the exact opposite, big vacuum versus small amount of air, then the exact opposite thing happens.
Well, Slick,
that's just very convenient.
Are you astounded by the coincidence of convenience that when you need to take a shit, you already have an asshole? Isn't that convenience?
But it isn't. It isn't the opposite though. It's the same situation, isn't it? Did I miss something? Where you guys figured out it's the opposite?
Because see, what I'm talking about is like with the chambers here on Earth, you got a small chamber, but you got it versus the large area of air going against it. But now up in space, you got the large vacuum going against the small area of air in the ISS. I'm just saying it's the exact opposite.
And
hold on.
3,000 psi in it in a 14.7 psi atmosphere.
What I was going to say was that in the case of like a vacuum chamber, it's the same on both sides. So like we say, big air going against this vacuum chamber on Earth, but there's also just as much vacuum chamber in terms of surface area on the inside of the thing, right? Because every place where there's air pressure going down, there's also vacuum on the other side of that. So they're matched in terms of how much they cover.
Look, but this is the only thing that I'm saying. Down here with that big vacuum chamber with the 6-foot walls, you have the vacuum on the inside with the air pressure on the out. Now on the ISS, you got the vacuum on the outside, but the air pressure is on the inside. Now you only need very thin walls to keep this differential. Well, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. It's just very opposite.
If you need exactly the same thickness of walls, if the shape is the same. If you make something that's the same shape and same size, you're going to need to make the walls just as thick.
So let me ask you this: are you saying that they could build a vacuum chamber just like the ISS here on Earth and bring it down to a -6 torr value, and that son of a bitch won't crush?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Okay. I mean, look what happens to oil tankers.
But if they keep the inside of the ISS at 14.7, then it's doing exactly that. It's resisting 14.7, pushing out on it.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. What I'm asking is if you took the ISS down here on Earth and you brought it down to -6 torr value with the air pressure around it of Earth on it, what would happen to the ISS?
More or less, I think it would work. I guess there could be some sort of like they built it to sort of work in one direction, but they could make it work just so if they can make it work one direction, they can make it work the other direction. So it should work in principle.
So what you're saying is, but based on what you're saying is that they could build a vacuum chamber. All they have to do is build it like the ISS, and they can make it with thin walls. Is that what you're saying?
No. What matters here is the strength of materials under compression and under tension. There's a difference. Okay, if you brought the ISS down to Earth, it would probably collapse under that pressure. But what's happening, the materials in the ISS are under tension. When you build a vacuum chamber on Earth, you've got to build it because it's under compression. There's a difference in the strength of the materials.
Was it tension and compression?
Yeah, I was thinking about
what is that?
Because some materials are stronger under tension than they are under compression.
But because I'm not a formal physicist, what is the actual difference? What's tension versus compression?
Or said it earlier, right? Or he gave like an example, I thought.
Well, an example would be to take a piece of fencing wire. You try to stretch a piece of fencing wire outwards, it's very hard. But if you push that piece of fencing wire inwards, it'll just fold up.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So you can stretching versus compression or something. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And I see what you're so in the ISS's case, it's under tension, and then if you reverse it, it's under compression.